Here we go. Michael 23. So why is Prop 207 so monopolistic? Will there be any room for new marijuana businesses? Has there been any guidelines related to the 26 social equity licenses mentioned? John, would you like to start off with this?
Yeah, so I'll start with that second question. The answer is yes, there will be room for new marijuana businesses. One of the ways you can get in is under those social equity licenses. But number two, this isn't like an entrenched monopoly system like you saw in Ohio, for example. So Ohio had a failed legalization measure several years ago. It was a state constitutional amendment that granted 10 companies the permanent right to have a monopoly, or technically an oligopoly, on the marijuana industry. Personally, I don't know how I would have voted in that case. I think it would have been a close call. That's not what we have in Arizona. So in Arizona, the way it works is our dispensaries are limited, one dispensary for every 10 pharmacies in the state. As more pharmacies open up, more licenses become available, and there will be an open application process for anyone to apply for those licenses. What we are doing is allowing dispensaries to transition into also selling recreational marijuana, because we can do that more quickly. It gives you quicker access to recreational marijuana, number one. Number two, it also shows moderates that at least at the beginning, they'll have businesses that are already around, that already have expertise that they can count on, because it's worth remembering that back in 2010, the prohibitionists trotted out all of the same arguments that we're seeing right now. Dispensary opens up, you're going to have crime in your neighborhood, and there are going to be armed robberies, and there's going to be DUIs and all of this stuff. Arizonans know that did not happen, that those promises, predictions never came true. And part of the reason why is because, say what you will about dispensaries, they've done a pretty good job at keeping crime down, at keeping neighborhoods safe. Moderates like that. It makes them feel comfortable. And again, this isn't about drafting a proposition that, Arizona Normal's followers on social media are going to approve. It's about drafting one that Arizonans as a whole will approve. And we've got to win over moderates to get there, to accomplish the goals that we all share. So it's not monopolistic. Dispensaries will have the first licenses to have an easy and quick transition. After that, anyone can apply. You can apply. On top of that, I'll also say that there's marijuana businesses other than dispensaries. So there's a lot of concentrate companies. There's a lot of edible companies that you can partner with dispensaries and operate under their licenses and expand your business. And it's not like you just sell to that one dispensary. You use their license to grow, manufacture, to make other products, and then you can sell to other dispensaries. So there's a lot of opportunity for marijuana businesses to get in. Social equity licenses are great. They're not the only way to do it.
And let's talk a little bit about that real quick, and I'll let you go here in a second, Mike. But, guys, this is a business, and you still have to have all the requirements to start a business. You have to have, business experience, business knowledge, if you want to be successful. If you want to throw money out the window, I'll give you my address. You could drive past my house anytime you want and throw money out the window. Okay?
Well, wait a minute. If money's coming, come down to Tucson.
But you have to have, all the other pieces that go into it. I see a lot of people that get upset about this, like, oh, I can't get into the industry. I can't get in this business. Excuse me. But John just told you a couple ways that you can. Okay. Yep. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to address the issue about guidelines related to the 26 social equity licenses. And that's a very good point, because that, believe it or not, is wide open. And that gives us and all the players there's already been a meeting relative to this. There are cannabis lawyers involved. There are organizations looking at this. So what we have the opportunity to do with the Arizona Department of Health Services is we have the opportunity, because it's so wide open relative to language, to actually control and create the language with the DHS so that it benefits and it is truly a legitimate social equity licensing program. And that's something, when we talk about legalization as an incremental step, we don't fold up shop on November 4th when 207 passes. We get right to work immediately on a post-legalization world, and how do we have influence, and how do we make sure that plays out in a legitimate fashion. Secondly, relative to social equity licenses with the Voter Protection Act, in 207, there is furtherance through the legislature. There is a statement that says that for purposes of the Voter Protection Act, we can actually the legislature can add up to 10% of marijuana establishment licenses in furtherance strictly of the social equity license program. So the legislature, through the furtherance of the Voter Protection Act, can actually add 10% licensing, but in accordance with the social equity program.